Hi, I'm Rami.
And we are the Harrises. We help high-achieving Christians get emotionally healthy. And on this podcast, Heart Informed Healing,
we talk about emotional health. We are passionate to see Christians grow and learn the exact tools that they need to work through past pain
so that ultimately they can live in and fulfill all that God's intended for them.
Let's go!
So
let's get going.
We'll just go ahead and get started, jump right in. So today we are talking about how you can, as a Christian, and just as a person in general, really begin mastering emotional health and relational health. They really intertwine, and a lot of the skills that you use to develop emotional health can also help improve your relational health too.
Yeah.
It's really, really amazing, really fun. So something that we see quite often are that Christians are they've either done inner healing ministries or they've done counseling, and it's been good, but there's two scenarios that happen. One, either they feel dependent on that person, so they don't feel empowered and autonomous in being able to run after their own healing, or they feel like, well, I'm not at the point where I feel like I need inner healing or counseling. It's not really suiting me. I just really want to hone in. I want to see my marriage go to the next level. I want to deepen my intimacy with God. I want to really be present in the rest of my life.
Be freed up to pursue the things that I've always dreamt of. There's so many things blocking us from that can easily be addressed, but somehow we don't always know the skills.
Yeah, and I love this diagram. We have this in our course and in our certification, where it's this concept of an iceberg, what you see above and what you see below, and what you don't see below.
What's hidden.
What's hidden. And what's hidden so often is
bigger.
Yeah, way bigger. And the stuff that we get to teach you how to deal with, to dive in, and not like introspect or anything, but to get real needs met so that you can experience more of what God has for you, so that you can walk in the fullness of what He's calling you to and choose, rather than feeling like you're stuck in an area. You have that freedom and that power to choose into something new.
So mastering emotional wholeness.
So what we're going to talk about today and walk you guys through is this skill, this method that we teach our clients. Is called Heart Informed Connection. And ultimately, we help our clients tune in. We're going to dive into this here in a little bit. I'm just introducing it. We're going to teach you how to tune in, how to connect with your heart, how to connect with your real needs and your body, and partner with God so that you can begin really living present, living connected, getting free from bad habits, building a flirtatious marriage that feels fun and sexy and all of that. And all of that good stuff.
Vibrant community. Yeah,
vibrant community. We just actually completed walking 36 counselors through pastors through certifying them in Heart Informed Connection, and it was so amazing.
These are like certified counselors,
like licensed. The owner, one who owns her own counseling practice, she was like, just as a reminder, you guys, this is for you. What we were teaching, like
it's not only to apply towards your clients.
This is for you. It's a way for us to really experience the full life, and so the connected life that God has created us for.
Yeah, and what we were teaching was meant for her counselors. She believed that her counselors needed that so that they could be better counselors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times there's various roadblocks and stuff that we run into, specifically as Christians. We can either have like vague tools or a lack of tools, or like,
or tools that are more dismissive and not helpful.
Yeah, unhelpful tools, or we might have like verses that's like, okay, I get that, like, don't be anxious, but how do I get there?
It's not. Don't be anxious is not a tool.
Yeah.
It's a So what does that mean?
Yeah, and so a lot of times we lack that that bridge between where we are and where God has called us to be. And we don't know how to get to that place of peace, that place of connection, that place of forgiveness, that place of being free from codependency, all of that good stuff. And a lot of times, most things, even in the Christian world, it's mind-blowing to me because, Jesus, like the whole Beatitudes boiled down to the heart. That whole Sermon on the Mount boiled down to the heart. But still, we get caught up in verses as a corporate church, corporate body of Christ, where we get focused on the mind and on the will, like our behavior. And so we try to force ourselves into change. But it always boils down to the heart.
So I want you guys real quick, just a call to response here real quick. Type down some of the things that you are wanting to see change in your life, things that that you see need change, and I just want you guys to respond to that in the comments real quick as we're talking. It's really amazing.
How to let God's love in.
Yeah, literally.
That's a huge one.
It's huge, and so often, if we're not coming to the realization of what needs to change, then we don't get that change. If we're not aware that anything needs change, we can't change.
Or it's going on subconsciously, and we're feeling that frustration, we're feeling that resistance, we're feeling that disconnect.
Yep.
He's told me to let his love in, but not sure how to. That is so good.
Okay.
That is something
Perfect.
So powerful, something that we address specifically,
Yeah.
And we dive into really deep in our course and with our clients.
That's awesome. That's
And
really
it's that's such a powerful point, because Rebecca, I feel like most Christians can struggle with that. It's like you can have these moments of you feel his love and his love, you've encountered his love, but then you're on this journey and you're not feeling it. So it's how do I connect with that? I know his love heals me. I know his love brings me life, saves me, delivers me, all of that good things, but there's this disconnect there. And we can close the gap. We can partner with God. It doesn't have to feel like Russian roulette. Not numbing out when I'm exhausted, stepping out of fight, flight, stress, and connect with God and myself, identifying my needs in the moment and experience God meet them. Oh, I love that. Yes.
Maria, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, that is.
It's a need. It's really good.
That is so aware of you.
Yep.
And you are already your awareness in that, you're gonna see that fulfilled. You're gonna get that. I love it.
Yep.
Even to some roadblocks that we see people run into is that they go to counseling, but either there's this disconnect from God, specifically in secular counseling, or they go to a ministry, an inner healing ministry, their pastor or their church, and there's this disconnect from humanity. Mm-hmm. And so there's this tension and almost this war of okay, well then where is Jesus in all of this? Where is his truth? We know his truth. How do we move it from our head to our heart practically and apply it without forcing ourselves? Yeah.
That's so good.
Looked like you were going to say something.
Oh.
No. And a lot of times too, what we've specifically helped Christians with in the past is they have this sin struggle that they just have tried to break, and they don't know how to. And a lot of times, while you can partner, choices that you make with it and boundaries, there's also underlying things and drivers that can be dealt with that go deeper than just will and mind. And so we want to help you guys close that gap. Yeah. We want to help you guys feel empowered, where you're not dependent on counselors or solely dependent on your pastors. While we believe connection is so healing and we are wired for connection, we believe that we're also wired for connection with ourselves. We're wired for connection with God, ourselves, and others. And so there are ways that we can partner with God and actually facilitate and snowball that healing ourselves, and not feel like we have to keep going back and asking a counselor or a pastor or something like, what do I do here? Or I feel so lost. You know how to navigate it well, with clarity, soundness of mind, soundness of heart, and how to move through it without either getting taken out, without feeling like you're numbing yourself or doubting, or even, like with forgiveness, that doubt can rise up of like, oh, did I even forgive? So that can manifest in different areas.
Yep.
Or you can feel like that need of like, oh, I maybe I just need to go spend $100,000 and get my own degree in psychology. That doesn't have to be the case. The skills that we teach and are going to talk about today are skills that honestly we should have been taught by our parents.
Yep.
But most of us weren't. And
our parents didn't even have them.
They didn't even have them. But we can partner with God. We can reparent ourselves. We can experience real healing, real transformation, be powerful people. Or we see Christians spending years trying to figure it out on their own, and you hit roadblocks one after the other. Mm-hmm. And so we want to minimize the gap there. And also, we see a lot of people, the way that they try to attack problems or get solutions or change in their life, they do it in a way where they feel like they're a problem that needs fixed, where they're constantly trying to fix themselves. And that is the farthest from the truth. We have hearts that need love. And so we want to help you come into the place of realizing how God created you, that you aren't a problem, that even your struggle or where you're experiencing resistance, like it doesn't need fixed. You need love there.
Loved, yeah.
So that.
So what's standing out to you guys right now?
What's standing out to you guys? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Throw them in the comment section.
Yeah. As we talk here.
Yeah.
As we share.
We'll pop back in and talk about that. So this is where, like, in closing the gap on that is where we teach our clients heart-informed connection. And ultimately, yes, the area of struggle needs love, not to be fixed. Yes, I love that.
Yep.
Knowing that you're not a problem that needs solving, so good. I love that. Yes.
So good. It's huge.
It's so powerful. So ultimately, we developed heart-informed connection as a result of our coaching and our own healing journeys and what we've seen in our clients. And ultimately, we use it with our clients to help them. And we just taught the counselors and pastors to help them really master emotional health for themselves.
Yeah.
And be able to own their process. So I'm just going to define it here up front for you. It allows you to partner with God, one, by partnering with the way that He's brilliantly created your body and how He's wired you. And it's the practice or skill of tuning into your God-given heart needs and partnering with God and mastering your emotional and relational health by creating healthy connection that repatterns your nervous system. And there is an aspect of you learn within heart-informed connection. There's an art of learning compassion with yourself, of learning attunement, and we dive deep into attunement in our course with our clients, of learning connection with self and connection with God and connection with others, and then also creating self-awareness and body awareness. And I know that can be like, how is that partnering with God? We're gonna fill in those pieces for you, because ultimately we are, as Christians, we're one with God. We were made in God's image. He made us really, really well. And so by building that body awareness, that self-awareness, we can tune in and really notice the cues and the information that our bodies are speaking to us in a God-given way. Okay, let me find where I'm at. So heart-informed connection. It is not introspection or trying to fix or change yourself.
That's a big deal.
Big
Differentiation.
Yeah, big differentiation. It is partnering with God, partnering with love to reparent yourself, to facilitate safety and snowball real relationship, real connected, intimate relationship through love. So ultimately, God wired us for connection, right? He wired us from the beginning for connection with himself, connection with ourselves, and connection with others. And to paint a picture, to bring that just scripturally in, he made us in his image in the beginning, and he created us for himself. And then within that same moment, he noticed that it wasn't good for Adam to be alone. And he created a helpmate. He created Eve. And so we can see right there, we're wired for connection with each other. We're wired for connection with God. And then we jump to the New Testament, and we can see this all throughout Scripture too in different ways. But Jesus says the two greatest commandments are love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. And so a lot of times we dismiss, especially in the Christian world, relationship with self. But Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. So to the degree we love our neighbor is most usually, if not always, the degree that we love ourselves. And so if we have a lot of self-judgment or self-hatred or criticism towards ourselves, we project that onto others. And so there's this aspect of we need to care and receive the love of God for ourselves. And we can actually partner with God in receiving his love. He recently told me he died to restore all relationships. I had never thought of the gospel like that before. So beautiful. I love that.
Love it.
Yeah.
So true.
He's a father. Like
he's after our hearts.
I love that.
After relationship and connection and love, and compassion.
Yeah. So we are wired to be heard, seen, known, and loved. And like those moments when we feel like we are thriving, when we're at our best, we feel that significance, we feel that confidence, we feel heard, whether it's by God or someone in our life, or we feel seen and celebrated and loved. And so this is the basis of where we build heart-informed connection off of, just the reality that we are wired for connection, and we are wired to be heard, seen, known, and loved. And that shows us that it goes deeper than just right and wrong thoughts or mindset, or getting the truth in your head, memorizing verses, or even like trying to change the way that you speak about things or correcting your behaviors. There can be some benefit in those to a certain degree, but ultimately those just deal with the symptoms. We want to look at the heart. The heart is what Jesus said this in the Sermon on the Mount. I believe it was the Sermon on the Mount. He said, the mouth is the overflow of the heart, essentially. Whatever comes out of the mouth was in the heart first. And so how do we begin dealing with the heart? And ultimately, we believe that God has made us with real heart needs. Just like I said, those very basic ones, to be heard, seen, known, and loved. And so when those needs go unmet, that's whenever pain comes up. That's whenever we find unhealthy coping mechanisms. We numb ourselves, we distract ourselves, and there can be levels of healthy distraction, but there's also clearly unhealthy levels too.
Yeah, knowing the difference of what is actually needed in that moment, not what a reaction.
Yeah, being able to ultimately respond in a moment rather than react. Yeah, and this is so powerful, because when we get those core needs met, when we get that love, then we can begin responding rather than reacting. We can begin feeling that confidence, that security, experiencing that drive in marriage and connection and communication. It can really shift things. So when I talk about the heart, we talk about this like scripture says, the heart, guard the heart because from it flows the well springs of life. And you can see it in like all throughout different cultures and different time periods. Like the heart, it's like the core of our being.
It's not the literal heart.
Yeah. It's who we are. And it stores memories, experiences, moments, and tucks them away. And the heart is where the majority of our life is lived. You could also connect it to the subconscious, because so often can be the problem with mindset work or just trying to change our behaviors, our words, is that we only live to a certain extent in like what we're consciously aware of, but a lot of our life is driven, a lot of our decisions are driven by like what's going on subconsciously in your heart, like what has left an impact, what has left a mark in your heart, and that drives the majority of our day-to-day decisions. And you may not even realize it, you may not even know it. I remember when I gave my life to Christ at the beginning, and it, like really diving in and experiencing these layers of like rejection just fall off, and like I had always known it was there, but I didn't know it was there. And then there's been other times where it's like, okay, how do I experience that again? I'm feeling stuck in this particular area, or like how do I navigate forgiveness, or how do I navigate this relationship? I know there's something not right here, but I just feel stuck. And so I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
On to the next.
Anyway, on to the
They'll
next.
come back.
Yeah, they'll come back. Where our beliefs, and this is so good. You guys are killing it. I'm sure it's not the easiest to talk at a screen about deep matters, but no, we're on the other side of the screen and it's being received with gratitude. Oh, thank you so much, Maria.
That's very kind.
That's so sweet. Yeah, so the heart and the subconscious are deeply connected, and it also affects our nervous system. And so when we address the heart, we can heal the subconscious. We can create new ways of making decisions. We can heal the nervous system, which is our body's communication system, and that can get stuck. I'm about to dive into this part a little bit more. And ultimately, the heart is just the key to unlocking so much freedom, connection, intimacy. It's where we are created to live from. When scripture says, guard the heart, for from it flows the wellspring of life. It's a tongue twister for me. It really is. And it's such a beautiful thing, and it's a thing to be treasured. And the heart takes time. So we can't just force our heart into change. We can't discipline our heart into change. Our heart has to be loved, and safety and that love and those needs getting met. That's what creates change.
And there's real things you can do to enter into that process, to enter into that journey, enter into that, like receiving God's love, as Rebecca was talking about, which is beautiful.
Yeah. So something that we are introducing newly into our course, I'm really excited about, is this aspect called that we've called the Brilliant Design Blueprint. And this is the reality of how God created our bodies to function.
And this will be in our Emotional Health Mastery 101 that we're launching here this next month. Yeah.
And essentially we dive into looking at how God designed our bodies for relationship. And this is all like evidence-based and biblical-based. It's really a marriage. And how he designed our nervous system. Because so often we are pointed to the mindset work. And like I said earlier, that can get some results, but it doesn't get to the subconscious level or potentially even create lasting change or that huge shift that you actually want.
Like the suddenlies.
The suddenlies, yeah.
And in fact, like sometimes the mindset work can actually add more of what you don't
more resistance.
Because it's like you're seeing your inadequacies and they're at the forefront of your mind, and it's
Like-
causing anxiousness.
or that feeling of like, oh, I need to be fixed, or like, this thought is wrong, my mindset is all wrong. Whenever, like, we're all human, and ultimately, we just need love at the end of the day. That's what we need. That's what will transform us.
Is anything coming up for you guys? Just curious what's on your mind and what you're thinking, and how this is personally affecting you.
Yeah. So the Brilliant Design Blueprint is just the reality that God has created our bodies for connection, for regulation, and for relationship. And we see that through relationship with God, self, and others. And we see that in our bodies physically through our autonomic nervous system. And like I was saying, our nervous system, it's a master communicator in our body to our brain, signaling that either something is really good or something is not good. You know, just really simply put, we have our parasympathetic and our sympathetic. And the parasympathetic is the place where you're at, and you're in rest and digest. And the sympathetic is the place where it's the fight or flight or freeze, even.
That's what you were talking about, Maria.
Yeah. And so a healthy nervous system actually
Freely moves through each one.
it
doesn't
is
get stuck.
able to choose. But when we get stuck, we can get stuck in one or the other. And the extremes could look like depressiveness or lack of motivation. Or on the other side, the overwhelm, anxiety, busyness, that kind of thing. Just yesterday, he showed me being in a large bubble with all my family and loved ones on the outside. He came into the bubble, sat with me, and said, I need you to be okay with who you are first before you work on the relationship with the other. You want to click that? Thank you. I was so focused on wanting the other relationships healed, but he called me back to relationship with myself. I love that.
That's
that is
so good. That's like literally taking responsibility for your own actions. It's exactly what happened there is he said he was moving you out of codependency. Mm-hmm. What is yours in such an amazing relational way?
Yeah, I love it. And so with the parasympathetic rest and digest and the sympathetic nervous system, where it's the fight, flight, or freeze, ultimately healthy is being able to choose choose one or the other and not getting stuck. But a lot of times we can see where we get stuck, where maybe there's days or weeks where we lack motivation, or we are numbing ourselves, or we are using busyness as a distractor and numbing ourselves that way, or overworking ourselves. We're business owners. We have a couple of businesses, and we see this a lot with entrepreneurs, is like the idea of the grind, but there is a way with entrepreneurs even to build with healthy boundaries, and even with parenting, to create and establish that heart connection, those boundaries, and heal your nervous system so that you're not just stuck in that fight or flight where
as
those
Monica
days
says,
where
you're not just throwing needles at the fan.
yeah.
The real expression is needles at the wall. But if you work from a connected place, if you work from the place where you understand
your body,
you're able to connect with actually what is going on. You no longer have to do as much guesswork when it comes to what's going to get you to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Or you are able to notice it earlier,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's big right there.
And note it and catching it and being like, oh, well, I see myself going down this path where in a few days from now I would feel really crummy, or I would feel overwhelmed or stress, or eventually it will lead to me having a blow up on my husband or my kid. And it's like, you can catch these. And these
are the things we work through with our clients. Mm-hmm. And specifically in the emotional health mastery.
Yeah. And they really help connection is one of the primary ways where you can bring healing to your nervous system.
The beautiful thing too.
And they really go back and forth. Like, you can heal your nervous system and you can use connection, and both of them will propel you forward.
The beautiful thing is, like, in the emotional health mastery, you'll be doing it with others, which is really awesome as well, because others facilitate like healing or bring things up that really help you move through the next step of your healing too.
I love it. Let's see. Catching up in our notes. I'm curious, just a question. Have you guys ever dived into learning about how God created your nervous system, or is this a new concept for you? I would love to hear if you want to put it in the comments. Yeah. And then as those pop up, we will stop and take a moment.
Yeah. As we kind of near the end, kind of excited to...
Oh, we still have some to go.
Oh, we still have time, but I'm really excited for you guys who are still on here to, where I'm going to enter you into a, what's it called?
A drawing.
A drawing to win something, so I'm excited for you guys.
Yes. Okay, so I
Heard
some input on it here and there, and heard a lot, but haven't gone deep into it. But no, it's important. Yes, it is.
Change our lives.
It amazes me that more churches or even inner healing ministries don't talk about this. On my journey, like, I did every inner healing ministry under the sun, and no one talked about this. It was actually like, even the ones that brought me the most change, they didn't directly talk about this, but there's so much power in being able to learn it for yourself, even though like counselors and coaches used certain techniques with me that involve the nervous system and facilitate healing the nervous system. There's so much power in knowing it for yourself so that you can take ownership of your own journey.
And even like amazing counselors that you've had have brought you through the steps of what it looks like to deal with the nervous system or any of these other skills, but they didn't teach you the skill itself to apply it to yourself. And after you learned it, you were like, oh, that's what she was doing. That was really helpful.
Yeah.
Like, now I know how to like apply it for myself, which is really amazing and a breakthrough really in a way, because like now, though we really believe in like psychology, like counseling is amazing, doctors, and it's vital for healing, that like Christians on their own know how to apply, and they're empowered by like knowing how to walk through hard times and pain, because as we know, in this world there will be sorrow, there will be pain.
But then even within that, a lot of times, like, it's not just this other than science or thing that's secular or out here, but God actually created our bodies for healing, for love, for connection. He gave us our nervous system. And so if we can discover how he wired us, we can actually really partner with him to bring real, lasting, and powerful change and transformation.
Yeah, and that's specifically what we teach are the things that are exactly what he wired us to be like, so that you can walk through that.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about heart-informed connection and how to begin really snowballing health and healing in your journey with it. And ultimately, it boils down to a few elements, a few core elements. And we teach these to our clients in our courses and our one-on-ones and our programs. Essentially, the first thing is always awareness. So like developing awareness. It's not introspection, just awareness. And then the last three things, that when you create and start cultivating one of these things, it snowballs into the other and into the other, and creates just beauty, really, honestly, because it's how God designed us. And so it's this movement from learning attunement to, and as you attune, building safety, because we need a level of safety and security to heal and to grow and to do the things that God has called us to. And that safety perpetuates healing. And the beautiful thing is, like, as you develop those and you learn, you begin repatterning your nervous system and building easy, achievable habits and new ways of relating, new ways of doing things, like crazy celebratory, like crazy easy, crazy achievable, and you build upon that, that just perpetuates. It perpetuates good. Whereas what we see often happen is we see a problem, and this can even go back to awareness. Like, people can be aware of the problem, but they don't have attunement and safety down. So maybe they get into this place of like criticizing themselves or beating themselves up or trying to fix themselves. And ultimately, that's just going to perpetuate pain and problems. And it's this cycle of, we call it our fractured foundation cycle of like, there's pain, and that and when you suppress pain, it leads to distress. And those just cycle into each other. So when you have pain and you don't know what to do with it, so you suppress it, you're going to experience distress. And that just grows and grows. But when you have
pain, suppressed, distress.
Yeah. When you have attunement, you're learning to tune in to your needs, build that relationship, that connection with yourself, and safety, and that perpetuates healing. And so suddenly when you notice these problems, you can even potentially catch yourself judging or criticizing yourself. You're able to step back and reorient yourself and like
step out of that
and begin relating with yourself in a way that facilitates safety and perpetuates love. And this ultimately is partnering with God, because God's heart for us is love. It's healing. For God so loved the world, he gave his only son. And so being able to rid ourselves of that self-hatred or that judgment or all of that is so liberating, and it empowers you to experience more of God. Like, we've seen this time and time again with clients, as they own these skills of like attunement and building safety in their life, their prayer life gets so intimate and
even their ability to like confront like lies, it's to a whole different level than what like you might hear from someone else's. That
they're no longer feeling like they're in this fight. They're able to be and like really experience healing through connection, through love.
Because the difference between like other methods is that it's like a confrontation, but this is actually confronting lies by becoming more connected, by being more connected to what's actually happening. It's not a closed door, it's an open door. It's like, oh, I'm opening up to the truth. Like, as opposed to like often what's taught is like, okay, I'm gonna close my doors, like lies get out in truth. But like it's a very powerful way. It's like we can't fight like a lie with fear. It's not the right way to do it, right? So like attuning and connecting is way more powerful, because it's getting to the real thing.
Yeah. And Maria, to answer your question, so the fourth thing is healing. So attunement, like building attunement and safety on each other, create healing. And so that's the concept. And the beginning of it is awareness. And building safety. We dive into all of these a lot, like at a lot more deeper detail in our Emotional Health Mastery 1.0. But building safety can look like noticing relationships that are safe, noticing in building a mind and body connection, and noticing what brings your body to rest, what brings your body to peace, and creating more of that in your life, or choosing into more of that. So often too, what we've seen with Christians is we can see Christians disregard safety and confuse it with like a lack of safety with faith. But what we've seen time and time again, and what we see in the Bible and in the New Testament, is that healing happens through safety and safe relationships. That's relationship with others, relationship with God, even healing those areas where we feel unsafe with God, and relationship with ourselves. Because at the end of the day, we so often when we step back and start tuning in, we've had people do like our heart connection exercises, and they're like, oh wow, like I've been feeling so lonely, and they it's just been there. They don't even realize it, but they've been abandoning themselves and not even knowing it, you know.
The amazing thing about our emotional health mastery 1.0 is that every person who goes through it gets a daily checklist, a daily
rhythm for themselves
built on exactly what we designed for you to practice, so that at the end of the time you will actually have a clear way forward, and also you will have practiced the exact things that you need.
Yourself. Really easy ways to integrate and implement in your day-to-day, and creating new rhythms so that you can begin really repatterning your nervous system in achievable ways that feel like major wins, and really get that snowball going. So I love Heart Informed Connection. I love what we're doing. I love what we teach. I love
to sit back and see like our clients wins, and just like to see how it empowers them, and like hear what really stood out to them, and it's amazing. Even
just like last week at the end of one of our certification calls, one of the counselors, she was just like saying, she was just weeping, and she's like, this is so life-changing. This is so life-changing. And it really is, because it's bringing us back to how God originally created us. God wants us to feel safe with him and ourselves. Why does that feel like such a foreign concept in what's being taught in the church? Crazy.
I believe it's because we've been taught that the heart is fleshly, and so we have this like glorification of self-deprecation, and this thought of like, if I want it, it must be the flesh, and or if I have feelings, I just need to suppress them. It's a very normal thing, and that's taught, and that's not all of it, but you know, this is our mission, and this is why
and we
started our certification where we're actually teaching counselors and pastors what the Bible teaches about the heart.
And how God designed our bodies. Right after coming to Christ, we have a brand new heart.
Right.
No, exactly.
He turns our hard heart into a heart of stone, into
a heart of flesh.
A heart of flesh.
Yeah. And we can find that time and time again in scripture. And we were just talking about this with the counselors on our call today. Like in John 17, Jesus is about to be crucified. He's praying to the Father, and he says, Father, I desire that they would be one, even as you and I are one. And there's this reality of that God wants to bring us into this oneness with him. And that's powerful, because when you lean into that, it's like, where does his goodness end? Like, he wants us to be so connected with him while we are weak, and while we are human, and while we are frail. We have his love, and we get to be held, and we get to be seen and known by him. And so we're not just these sinners, even though we have pain, we have sin, we have his love. We're his children.
And so now kind of like, just wanted to say, we actually have a big discount happening right now with the emotional heart mastery, where if you jump into it within the next week.
No, it's by tomorrow.
Oh yeah, by tomorrow. Yeah, I was saying that last week. by tomorrow, it will only be $444.
Yeah. So our emotional health mastery, it is a 1.0. It is a condensed, like, fire hydrant version of our full thing, and it's normally $600. It's 1 month of focused intention, like Remy was saying, daily rhythms sent straight to your inbox, weekly group teaching and calls. You're going to get workbooks. You're going to get even 1 to 2 personalized suggested routines or rhythms for you specifically, and
Group calls.
yeah, so the group calls, and then
one-on-one.
and then one-on-one, and we've created it so that it's achievable, it's transformative, and there are very powerful shifts that will happen daily and weekly and over that month, and with the rhythms and routines that are sent straight to your inbox, and they're like little 5-minute exercises to
so that
help
everyone can achieve it, but then it creates that habit, that developing the understanding, breakthrough in learning how to actually apply it,
helping you get connected to how God made your body, and then also you will have access to our Back to Eden course, which is our foundational emotional healing, relational healing course. And then you also have access to a library of mini sessions that are specialized, like encounters to help you move the needle in various areas around specific topics, whether that's your marriage, whether that's your relationship with God, whether that's your relationship with finances, whatever it is around those, you'll have a library of access to those. And so if you join by tomorrow, you get in for the whole month for everything for $444. Otherwise, it'll go up to $600. But within that, we also have a few little giveaways.
I'm gonna drop the link right here, right now, below, so that if you're saying like, I'm ready to get going right now, just how do I sign up? Let's do it right now.
I have it here. I'll do it.
Right,
I'll do it here in a second. But I want to talk about the giveaways first, and just honor you guys for showing up, for staying till the end. So the first thing we're going to give away is a $10 Amazon gift card. The second thing we're going to give away is, let me look at my notes, get it right.
So we've got 2 people.
20% off of the 444, and the third thing we'll give away is 1 free day of Voxer access, which is normally $40.
Now, since we only have 2 people in here,
someone might get 2.
Let's see. So I don't know who's in here still.
You want to type your name?
And
how many hours per week do you think one should be able to sit aside to do it well? So the group trainings and coachings will probably be anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, and then after that,
it's
like
self-led.
10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day, yeah.
10 minutes a day. If you want to set aside 30 minutes a day and like go through some of the like sessions, or like do a little bit deeper in the workbook, you are welcome to. But that's the reason that we have the group calls and the group trainings all together. And then also we wanted to make the daily activations sent to your inbox super achievable for you.
So let's see. So is it Maria and Rebecca still in here? Or who is it that's in here now?
Yeah, just so we can get you down and get you guys some
goodies.
Actually, you know
Jackie, what? I don't know.
You know what? Yep, Rebecca and Maria. Awesome. You know what? I would love to, this is going a little bit off, but I would love to offer both of you guys, all 3 of them. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it because we have 2 people here. Let's go for that.
Yeah. So if you wanted, both of you, Maria and Rebecca, we want to bless you with a free day of Voxer with us, one-on-one coaching, a $10 Amazon gift certificate, and 20% off of the 444.
And all we'll need is your email address so we can send you the Amazon gift card.
Yeah. So if you want to message us privately your email address so we can get you that Amazon gift card,
then
And
the 20% off.
we'll connect with you about the other two too. How does that sound, guys? Awesome. We will get that. Woo, woo. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Well, we are so honored to have you guys here. We're so blessed by you guys. Thank you, guys. I will connect with you via Messenger if that's cool.
And,
that is totally cool.
And the cool thing about that, it's 20% off of the $444, which is already discounted, which is amazing.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome, guys. It was a pleasure spending time with you and getting to know you. Talk to you on the other side.
Okay. Bye-bye.